I hadn't been here since 2017, the summer I left. Rome is a place that shaped me as a young adult. I moved for school when I was 18, and I learned a lot about food, about life, about travel. I learned a deeper appreciation for the beauty in simple things. When I left, I didn't think I'd be gone for 7 years. I thought I'd be back in just a few months, but life had other plans. In the years that followed, I put Italy, but Rome in particular, on this pedestal that was almost impossible to touch. Everywhere I went, everything I did would be compared to Rome. And that led to a few years of unhappiness and being stuck in a comparison mindset. Eventually I grew out of it, but Rome was still this place that I viewed so highly. In my own head, I anticipated what it would be like to come back. And so I was really interested to see how I'd react to it, especially because in recent years I've grown less and less fond of cities in general. And it was very nostalgic. Immediately, the sounds and the smells brought me back in time. There was also this sense of relief because I didn't have that extreme attachment to it anymore. I could kind of just be a tourist revisiting a place that I once knew. But that first week in Rome was also pretty challenging. Everything going on at home gave me feelings of stress and guilt and anxiety. We spent our last night with my good friend and former roommate Bari, one of the most special humans I've ever met throughout my life. We sat at the bar right under our old apartment while he gave us some great advice about what we could look forward to in the next few days. We arrived in Puglia late at night. It was raining, and we didn't know much about the town where we booked our Airbnb, just that it looked beautiful. So opening the door to sunshine and the ocean air was a moment of huge relief. Watching the sunset on these cliffs was the first time I could really relax. The ocean forced me to calm down in a way I hadn't anticipated. We just sat there for a few hours, listening to the waves and watching the light change. went down to our local beach for sunrise. I had this hope when we came during the day that the sun would rise and shine directly through these two holes in the rocks. And it happened. It was the most perfect and beautiful way to start our day. All of the creatures come here for the morning sun. The pigeons, the fish, and the human. The perfect way to start a day. Go swim, sun's rising. I like our little routine here. The air is nice, and then when the sun hits you, amazing. And then we drive and go get a coffee down the coast a little bit. This is a routine that I could get used to. Photos. Okay, so we just have to hike down. But if you just want to chill, then we should go to maybe a more normal beach. Let's put the photo there.
I mean, it will be very...
That looks insane.
private.
We found this little cove and spent the afternoon soaking in the sun. How we were the only ones here, I have no idea, but it was paradise. I wrote in my journal that I don't know how we keep finding these places where no one else is, but I'm not complaining. We were on the East Coast, so we headed inland a little bit to find the sunset that evening. We drove until we couldn't anymore, and then walked on this little mountain road lined by olive trees. Having the sound of the forest above the ocean was really special. And it was a little taste of what we could expect in a few days' time. The This is making me excited for Tuscany. Oh yeah, they are. There's tiny. Yeah, because I mean harvest season is October. We had one more morning in this town we'd grown so fond of, and we started it like every other day here. We honestly would have been content to stay a few weeks here, but our Airbnb wasn't available, so we had to continue up the coast. And with no destination in mind, we were free to explore wherever we wanted. Planned to spend the rest of the week exploring Puglia, but when we checked the weather, cold fronts and storms were on the horizon. Not wanting to leave the south just yet, we looked all over the place for towns that looked promising. Eventually we found one, so we booked an Airbnb, jumped back in the car, and started chasing the sun across the country. This one, the spice, hits right away, actually. So nice. We ended up on the west coast, the Amalfi Coast, a place I've been to many times, but not this particular town. I love arriving in new places at night and then waking up to see what they really look like. Our apartment was perfectly placed in the middle of this hillside town. Above, we had the mountain looming over us, and below the beaches and winding roads and harbors. It was a really fun place to watch the world wake up. Kaylee and I are similar in many ways, one of them being that neither of us have a strong desire to see every possible sight while traveling. We don't plan much. We enjoy having these more relaxed days. We took the afternoon to get some work done at home. When the bells started to ring, we drove up as far as we could to watch the sunset. I was slowly realizing how much I needed this time away from home. I was resistant to come on this trip, but I'm lucky that my mom and brothers pushed me. This past year has been so intense in a way that I didn't even realize until I stepped away. When you're in a situation like that, you don't even consider yourself and your own well-being almost. And Stepping away to such a beautiful place helped me come to terms with everything that was going on.
My two favorite things.
What are they?
Figs and olives.
And the beach.
Yeah, in the mountains.
This really is a paradise. I mean, just imagine living here. This is an insane tree. What is it?
I'm not sure. This beach is so cool.
It's really fun to try to envision what it would be like to live in a place like this. Especially this place where it's so different. You're on the side of a mountain above the sea, steep, winding roads everywhere. Very small town. Interesting.
Going uphill, you have Faito, and then Faito goes all the way down. There's like a wire that'll take you to Castellamare. I don't know if you saw.
What was it like growing up in a place like this?
That's a good question.
In the mountains.
I think it was a blessing because, well, first of all, you got nature itself everywhere. The best part for me is that the community is so small because it's very cute people. And, well, 20,000 in total, but they're really spread around. Like the center is like 5,000 people. We all know each other, so it's a big family. Wherever you go, whenever you come back, you have the same people. And to me, that's about to be people that grew up in a big city. They don't have that because you get lost. Your identity gets lost in the city. But no, the blessing is that it's a very beautiful community. That's what I like. Here, I don't know about there, but I hear you.
Chico is one of my favorite people I met during my time in Rome. We worked on a little student film together and became extremely close during that time. He's a real free spirit and an artist. Chico doesn't really exist online, so he's one of those people who you can always count on, but he's hard to reach. And one reason I was keen on coming to the Amalfi Coast was that I hoped I could reconnect with him. We spent a beautiful night together on the mountainside catching up. And while this was our last night by the sea, our time in Italy was far from over.